It's not often a football author starts a history and then has to extend the project because of unfolding and momentous current events. But that's exactly what happened to lifelong Huddersfield Town fan Andrew Pearce when penning his excellent and intriguing book Amos, Erbert and Friends. Its 608 pages of Town Through the Ages, billed as flying high with Huddersfield Town, views of a terrace-side fan, brought right up to date with the Dean Hoyle era and the club's exploits in the Premier League, with all proceeds going to the Salvation Army. Hence it's been 13 years in the making, prompted by the playoff semi-final loss to Barnsley in 2006, when Andrew had to question why he'd inflicted supporting Town on his sons William, Richard, Ian and David. "They are all good lads, don't they deserve better?" was the guilty plea from Andrew, who realized the best way to get the nagging out of his system would be to dig into town and family history to look for answers. The inspiration had been provided by Andrew's own father, Jim Pearce, who was born in 1915 and grew up in Huddersfield in the Roaring Twenties, when Town were not only the best team in the country but, by definition, arguably the best team in the world. Andrew explains, "Our club was crowned thrice champions of the First Division and, over the 6 seasons finishing in 1928, enjoyed finishing positions of third, first, second and second again." Lifelong Huddersfield Town fan Andrew Pearce pictured, left with his father, Jim, at the final match played at Leeds Road. "Oh, and for good measure, in 1922 we won the FA Cup as well. Yes, quite a list of triumphs for a team from a West Yorkshire mill town with a population, at the time, of just 120,000, his dad Jim had a beef that football historians and pundits consistently dismissed Town's achievements as a flash in the pan, and that they owed everything to Herbert Chapman, who tormented Arsenal while in charge at Town before joining the Gunners and igniting similar success. No wonder Arsenal were desperate to sign Erbert up, what with a total score of Town 28 Arsenal 4, over a 4-year period, and our wins getting bigger and bigger," recalled Jim, who had passed away before Andrew started the book. "It was the only way they were going to stop the rot." Read more. Andrew focuses on men like Sir Amos Brookhurst, his father-in-law Bill Hardcastle and others who saw off the attempted Leeds takeover in 1919-20 to establish Town as the power of English football at the time. Town's success continued into the 1930s, but then Andrew, who watched the great stars of the 1950s such as Vic Metcalf, Jimmy Glassard, Bill McGarry, Ray Wilson and Dennis Law, had to explore why, since World War II, Town fans have had relatively little to cheer about. "I decided to make something of a study of what is surely football's most extreme, riches to rags story," says Andrew, who added another 8 chapters to take up the tale. Andrew Pearce shows his excellent book of Amos, Erbert and Friends. In fact, the recent massive upturn in Town's fortunes can be tracked back to 2008, the date when Dean Hoyle, Heckman, born and lifelong Town fan, first joined the HTFC board. At first, improvement was steady rather than spectacular, but, just as the arrival of a new manager had galvanized amazing progress back in 1921, so history repeated itself in 2015 when the then little-known German, David Wagner, was appointed to be Dean's team manager. Suddenly, David achieved on-field progress that was as rapid as all those years ago, when Herbert Chapman had been in charge. Promotion to the Premier League and retention of our status astonished a legion of experts, and so, given the vastly different pressures that apply in top-level modern-day football, Town's recent achievements under Dean and David have been just as spectacular, in their own way, as those of Amos and Herbert. Of course it's gone a little pear-shaped this season, a factor Andrew was keen to reflect before sending the final manuscript to print. He looks at the setup of the squad, the makeup of the fixture list, the bad luck Town have had with refereeing decisions and injuries and, of course, the lack of goals. Well-researched and lovingly written, the book features some fantastic pictures, too, but it's the memories of games and events which make it really special. Read more. "The project has been a real joy," says Andrew. "And it's been fun to link the sport into family and local history and to imagine the sorts of meetings that must have taken place." so it's something of a combination of faces and conversational fiction. Amos, Erbert and Friends is available at a chunky £24.95, but then it's a blockbuster of a volume, from Amazon and Waterstones and hopefully, from Huddersfield Town outlets in time for this weekend's match against Watford. Let's block ads. Why?